Let me tell you how it's about to go. Let me show you the towel you're about to throw. This is hip-hop, try to run it on house or knock your ass straight out the door. I'm the enemy's epitome, the fantasy, my tendency to mentally give your career the death penalty. I instantly advise you to match my intensity. Try to fit my brain like Jackie Kennedy. I'm so tired of the why not side of putting MCs in a pine box. You motherfuckers couldn't even hit me in my blind. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Lost Legend TV. We are Rated MC, and I'm Ray.
And I'm James.
We've been on a serial killer binge lately.
Yeah.
In terms of like, not serial killing, but we've been watching like documentaries like John Wayne Gacy. And we remembered a while back, we watched the Ted Bundy documentary.
With Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Extremely...
Well, I was talking about the tapes.
Oh, we did watch the tapes, yes.
But in the same light, we watched the film with Zac Efron.
The tapes were extremely, like, revealing for stuff that, like, we did not know.
Yeah, it was...
And the film came afterwards, and the film was more of a, kind of like a biopic in the sense of like, it told the story, and we knew, for the most part, the entire story. Like,
put it in, like, a weird, not a weird, but a different perspective.
Yeah. Because today, we're going to talk about extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and violent. It follows, of course, the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy. Zac Efron stars in it. Now, if you just heard that name and was like, oh, you talk the guy from high school? If you look at the picture, this motherfucker looks extremely like Ted Bundy.
Like, it's
uncanny.
It's uncanny, the similarity and resemblance. The facial structures, the hair, the eyes. Acting-wise, he did pretty good, too.
Mm-hmm. He definitely portrayed it for me, like as best as they possibly could.
I probably wouldn't pick anybody else to play that role.
No.
For real.
Not for real. So, again, it follows Ted Bundy. If you don't know who Ted Bundy is, was basically a normal guy at first. There's been another movie that I watched that was, like awful about him, and I think it was just, like, Ted Bundy. It, came out in, 2002. It didn't portray it the way I felt like it should have been. Like, the acting was bad, but, the story just, came off a little different. But in this one, it definitely portrays Bundy in a different way. And I feel like that might have been why some people were turned off of it, because they kind of portrayed him as, like he did not do it. Yeah. Like he 100% didn't do it.
I guess I can understand why people took that approach. I mean, the film does kind of make you lead the audience to feel sorry for Ted Bundy and remorseful. And I get why people's like, nah, I'm not really having that. Yeah. But in the same sense, like we were saying earlier, we get why they did it, because that's how people portrayed him. That's how he portrayed himself to the general public.
That's how people saw him.
Manipulation.
And there's literally you can find videos of it. There were women would come to the court and they would be interviewed outside, during his murder rape charges, the actual big heavy shit, not just the kidnapping one. They would come out there like, I don't think he could do it. He's such a sweet, nice guy. Right after all the big shit went down.
It's almost up there with fucking Charles Manson level following shit. Yeah. When it comes to women.
So the film starts off right where Bundy meets his girlfriend, Liz Kendall Copefield, depending on where you look at. In the film, it's Kendall. So she's got a daughter, and it shows them living a happy life and everything. He moves in, all this other stuff. And then you start hearing rumors about stuff these two women got brutally murdered over in Utah. This takes place in Seattle. That's where the setting of this film is for the most part. Bundy gets put in jail. He starts he got put in there, and he didn't have a lot of help. No one was offering help. That he obviously did this shit, and he started looking up stuff and trying to figure himself out. While he was in jail for one crime, he was brought up on charges for another crime somewhere else.
Following that, Ted Bundy's in jail. He is escorted into a lineup where this young woman named Carol DeRanch, either way. And she has no problem picking Ted out of the lineup. Story was she was kidnapped, beaten, I believe, in his car. The Volkswagen.
It was right outside of it.
Yeah, he impersonated a cop.
And said she needed to go look for something or whatever, and when she got in the car, he tried to kill her, or he tried to bludgeon her, and she was able to fight away. Like he even put her in like handcuffs and shit. She was able to fight away, get away, and get out.
And she managed to escape. So he's picked out of the lineup, and he's found guilty. Mm-hmm. And he has to serve a minimum of 1 to 15 years in the Utah State Prison.
But, like we said earlier, he was also going on trial for another thing. And this was in Aspen, Colorado. See, because Bundy got around, like in that little section, like around Washington, Utah, Idaho, Colorado. He was all up in that area. So they transferred him to Colorado because they're going to do another one for a murder for, I think her name was Carolyn Campbell. So he's on trial, right? And this is big in the story. So, like, Liz does not believe that Ted did this.
And in this movie, like, she's, for the most part, portrayed like a loyal
you see moments where it's like she thinks, like, oh, I mean, that was kind of...
Nonetheless, she's there for him.
But it takes a toll on her for the most part of the movie because she starts becoming like a heavy drinker, like throughout the whole film. And, of course, they get one of the infamous Ted Bundy things. So, during this trial, Bundy decided, I'm going to represent myself.
Because, fun fact, which most of you probably know, he was actually a fucking law student. Mm-hmm. So, he knew the law.
And he felt like he was being, like, screwed over by the people who were trying to save him. He'd asked for time to go read law books in the library. Yeah. Like, in between cases and shit. Like, go out of his cell, go up there, read, and there'd be somebody watching him. On this day, the person that was watching him had turned their back. And what Bundy did was he jumped out of a 2-story window and dipped.
Now, also, fun fact, following up to that, in the documentary, the Ted Bundy tapes, we learned that he, over the course of a few weeks, used to jump off at the top bunk to condition his feet to take that land. Yeah. It just shows you how smart and how premeditated Ted Bundy's mind is. Like if he would have stuck to his A game, which I'm glad he didn't. You know, I'm not rooting for the man.
No, God no.
But this man was extremely smart. Hell, there was one story where he lost so much weight.
Mm-hmm. That was this part.
And he lost.
Well,
so
not
much
that part
weight.
yet. No, we can get that part. But like, there's a lot of stuff like that he did, and like he basically was on the run for 6 days. And then they captured him again. And he was, like, gaining sympathy from people. And, like, at this point, we're kind of more just explaining Ted Bundy's, like, stuff. Because the movie's really good. There's not a lot that I can, like, take away from the movie. Like, if I give you, like, the major key points of it, it's mostly Zac Efron played an amazing role. Of Ted Bundy. They, in the movie, really portray it like Bundy did not do these things. Like, had you not known about Bundy, you might be like, okay, well, maybe he didn't do it.
There's a big chance he didn't do this shit. He did.
Like Ray was talking about, like in the jail, he lost a lot of weight. He fucking broke the little lighting in the cell, got through that, and escaped again. This time for much longer than 6 days. Yeah. Even escaping and going to another state, like other states. If I remember correctly, he was able to get to Chicago, then came all the way down towards the south, towards Florida, which is where shit got deeper for Bundy. Because
that's where he went on his fucking murder spree that night.
Bad. Like he started like.
That's where he fucked up.
Yeah. So here's like in Bundy's like how Bundy went down. Like so, he started getting recognized because they had a composite sketch of him. From him asking people to help him load stuff on his like Volkswagen Beetle. Mm-hmm. It's because he kept doing the same sort of routine and like stick or whatever to get people to come with him and do stuff. Like a lot of it was him being in like he had like a cast on. I can't do this. Can you help me do this? Once he got out and he went to Florida, they don't show this in the film. He got caught again. I think he was speeding. And then he didn't have an actual license, so people didn't know who he was. Mm-hmm. And then they finally, figured out who he was because, he wanted to call Liz. At this point, Liz has ended the relationship.
Yeah, she's done with it.
Yeah,
washed her hands.
This is right around the time Carol Boone comes in. Like, she's been in the film before at this point, but this is where she plays her big role because she's been infatuated with Bundy. Carol Boone was very adamant that she did not think that Bundy did these things.
Yes, and I think she's the one person out of anybody on the planet that would go to hell and back. Probably go to hell and stay there for Ted Bundy. Like she was in there. She was loyal for him, and even to the very end.
While he was on death row, when you're on death row, you're not allowed conjugal visits. It's not allowed. During this time, it didn't fucking matter because you could, if you had enough money, enough cigarettes, whatever, you could just bribe the guard.
Way of life, my friend.
Way of life. And they, of course, like this is the second movie where I've seen them do the sex scene between this. In the other one, it was like they were literally in like this. This is why one of the reasons I really fucking hate this movie because it makes no fucking sense in this situation. So like in the situation of the 2002 film, the guard was literally standing in front of them having sex, right? Like he's like back to them, they're having sex. I get that. They're in a room where a bunch of people, including families and small children, are meeting to talk to their loved ones who are in prison. They were loud. The woman was loud as shit. There's no way no one was like, I don't think they should be doing that.
He was killing that pussy.
In the movie, it was a little different, but like it was still portrayed like for them having sex, whatever. The whole time, like Liz is like losing her shit about it because like Bundy every now and then just call and try to talk to her, try to prove like he's innocent or whatever. After he's already been convicted, he starts like do like a tell all, and Liz comes to see him. Because in real life, what he had done, like they don't portray this in the film because it's very, very fucked up. He went to Florida State, raped and murdered a couple women, then left and went like a few blocks over. He raped another woman, didn't kill her.
Down the fucking road.
And just kept moving like that. At this point, this is when his mind had deteriorated.
Yeah, he was past going at this point.
Yeah, he was like, and I'm not saying like if he was a calmer man, he wouldn't have been like, no, he was, when he was in like the prime of his killings, he was a lot more thought out. Like he knew what to do.
It does. It makes you wonder how Ted can go from being so calculated to going just being completely sloppy and going in as, I don't know if it was just like one last hurrah. I
attributed to him him having like an actual mental breakdown, like an actual because like when he was in court, he basically came off as a not a sociopath. He came off like he was saying really odd things. They were letting him question witnesses.
Yeah,
he was creeping them out. Like he was asking them like really fucked up questions.
Like he was like looking for answers. Because it fed him. It almost like fed him satisfaction getting those answers from him.
Exactly.
Like he represented himself for the most part.
Yeah.
I think like especially for like the last end portion of the movie.
And the real big nail in the coffin for him. Because like I said, he's already been convicted of the kidnapping, so he's got at least do 15 years. And then he was going to be convicted of the other one before he escaped. Escaping does not help your prison sentence. If they're like, oh, we're going to give you 25 years, you do that, you're getting more time for escaping regardless.
Here's another 10.
Yeah. The real good nail in the coffin was he picked up a 12-year-old girl in Florida, and he raped and killed her, and they found her body like in this like old shack or whatever. While in court, proposed to Carol Boone. She would also have a baby. This is real things that happen.
Yeah.
Sends out a letter to Liz, telling all these other people what he did, but he's doing it in sit-down interviews. And he keeps telling Liz he did not do it. He's sitting in like his suit, telling her, look, I did not do these things.
And this is like a 10-year span that we're talking about.
Liz had been shown a picture of a decapitated head. And she asked him, and she kept asking him how did he do it, all this stuff. So he wrote, like he did a fog on the window. And he wrote and told her, hacksaw. To let her know.
Yeah, then she's shocked. And the way the movie portrays it, I mean, that was...
like the final reveal for you.
Yeah, that was the climax of the movie. But I guess because the movie itself, we're kind of discussing just the case of Ted Bundy in general. Like we're incorporating a lot of facts they don't cover in the actual movie. Because the movie just shows you the basics. A strong point in this movie, again, is Liz and Ted Bundy. And she went from believing him to having doubts to just pounding on Ted like, hey, did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do this?
And like you can see, like she like starts like losing faith in it. Yep. Like and like that's the whole point of this movie is like to show how his relationship.
After he admits with a hacksaw on the
she
glass
just
thing, she leaves in shock. But the movie after that, led you to believe like she has closure now. Mm-hmm. And I guess, Ted Bundy's gone after that.
Possible. That might be another reason why people dislike the film is because it was really focused on Liz and Ted Bundy's relationship instead of just Ted Bundy, the whole thing. And that's fine. But I did enjoy the film. I do think I wish that they would have gone further into the story, like his life, like giving him going on to death row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like they just really touched the basic points.
When he was sentenced to die, people went fucking insane. Not to the insane, like, oh, I can't believe he's going to die. Like, thank God he's fucking dying. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers were selling shirts and buttons and any kind of shit. Like, yeah, like, he going to get killed today. Yeah, we know exactly what day he died, and it was a Friday.
They fucking had a parade outside the fucking prison. Picket signs, T-shirts, and all.
Everything, bro. They were so ready, and like you could see the room, like you could see inside the room. You could like from where they were where they were like basically going insane about it. And like again, I get he's an awful fucking human being. He should 100% gotten exactly what he got. I have no pity for the man at all. I do think the people should not have, one, known about it.
True.
Two, been so fucking excited about it. I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy the man's dead. But these motherfuckers were capitalizing off that shit solely for their own entertainment. And people getting drunk and doing other stupid shit. It was like, people don't know how to act when like shit happens. That's just the point of it.
I could see if it was like a victim's family or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Had it been the victim's families or some shit like that, yeah, it was just random motherfuckers in Florida. It was literally what it was.
Just drunk, fucked up motherfuckers.
And it was just like, fuck it, but we know Bundy's down today. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you don't, like, you can't announce it. I mean, I feel like it would have been better if they just announced it after the fact. Like, yo, so today Ted Bundy died at, like, whatever time. Overall, about the film, like I said, and I know we didn't pick out specific points in the film, because, like I said, they do really touch upon it pretty well. But like it's basically just like in a way a biopic basing it around his relationship with Liz. Yeah. I really don't think that anyone else could have played Bundy in that situation.
Zac Efron was on point. He did an incredible, like incredible is not the word. He did an amazing job.
That might be another thing. They didn't really show him killing anyone.
Yeah.
They had once they revealed it, like they showed him like hitting somebody or whatever, but like for the most part you didn't see him doing anything violent.
The documentary is like a tell all. Like if you want the details, even from like Ted Bundy himself.
Yeah,
the interviews.
And that was one of the things that I liked about it is because like the guy interviewing Bundy basically had to have Bundy refer to himself in the third person. Mm-hmm. Like how would you break down this case if you were like the person like. And for him to actually break down into details about the shit, because he wouldn't really reveal it like how. Overall, I really like the film. If I had to rate the film, I'd probably give it a 7, like about 7.5 or so. It's not like a phenomenal film, but it's pretty good. And again, I get why people didn't like it for the whole, like just basing on that love story between them two.
I think I'll give it a 6.5. Mine's not as high, but again, Zac Efron is the main. Entertainment in this film, not only because he's Ted Bundy, but just of his acting ability alone. Mm-hmm. Like he's on par with the actual fucking Ted Bundy. And again, I like you said, I know a lot of people kind of took a detour because of the whole relationship perspective of it. But me, I understand why they chose to go that route and how the director took that route. For a different perspective, the film seemed like they wanted to make it as personal as possible with Liz.
Yeah.
And think about it. This is Liz. This is somebody Ted Bundy lived with, had a relationship with.
Hell, he helped raise her daughter.
Semi-raised a fucking daughter. Be a father figure. You know, they don't cover shit like that in documentaries. Mm-mm. I understand why they took this route, and I still love the movie. I would definitely watch it again.
100%. So tell us what y'all thought about it. Tell us what you think about, like, if you watched the documentary, the Ted Bundy documentary. Tell us what you thought about that. Were you shocked to find out some of the things? Did you literally know nothing about Ted Bundy before you watched the film? Let us know. If you want to talk about Ted Bundy shit in the comments, I mean, it's not really something, like, I feel like we should talk about on YouTube. But if that's just something you want to talk about, yeah, we'll talk about it. If you're new, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see some more stuff, talk about serial killer stuff, like actual real serial killers, let us know. And until next time, y'all. Deuces.
Adios.
On the couch like damn, what a slam. Bring this back to you, grouches. My crew just might roll on you like